Hey, I'm Alex Lintz.
I'm Ollie Eldrick.
We're November Down, and this is another episode of the Sit Down Podcast.
Heck yeah. Welcome everybody in-house at Le Capitaine Restaurant in Bellevue. Thank you guys for showing up. Welcome everybody at home, and welcome November Down.
Pleasure to be here.
Well,
Pleasure to have you guys.
Half of November Down.
Half.
Yeah.
The good half. The talky half.
There we go. We were saying, I was telling Ollie before how, you know how we're always saying that every episode, every week that we do, there's always something different, whether it's like in the background with audio or video, or there's always, it's no two episodes are the same.
I don't like what this is.
Don't worry, he's going somewhere okay with this.
Okay.
And this, I was thinking about it. So what's different this week, and what I've put together is that Ollie is the first time that we've had a repeat guest this close together.
Within a year.
Because I think it was like, I want to say it was like 6 weeks ago.
2 months.
Yeah, it's somewhere between 6 months and 6 weeks and 3 months.
Do you need another beer?
Yeah.
I'm fine. I'm good. But I've been here before. It's lovely to actually be here in person for the first time on the podcast.
Yeah, I was going to say that too. Lovely, because last time you were on with just yourself, it was on Riverside. We did it virtually.
Yeah, and it was still absolutely lovely to. It was a blast to be with you guys, but it's lovely to be in Le Capitaine here in
Heck yeah,
Saint-Isidore, La Bellevue.
Heck yeah.
Come check it out if you're ever in not fully northern Saskatchewan, but somewhere between Saskatoon and PA.
There you go.
It's a good place to stop.
Good, yeah, off Highway 225. Great to have you here, Alex.
It's great to be here.
We've run into each other a few times in Saskatoon on a Tuesday night there, and
Oh, yeah.
and I figured this was fitting to have you guys come to us, and I want to talk about November Down, like indefinite. Essentially, when we do these shows, I want to know like little origin stories. I want to get to know the band as a whole, where you guys came from, where you started playing music. So my first question.
Before you do that, we should also give a shout out to the band members that are not
Oh,
here.
good idea. Yeah, so Brock Nielsen, our beloved drummer, is currently playing a gig at Haynes Mile Pub acoustically with his other band, Yeoman. And our guitar player, Dallas Outsider, is currently on his way to LA to see Ghost, because he just does things like that, and he's a crazy
Nice.
man.
We miss you guys a lot. But,
We do miss you. We love having
yeah.
you all
We'll
here.
have words when you're back.
That's just an excuse to, I guess I'll re-invite you guys back again right now.
sure,
But
yeah.
next
if
time
we
I
have
want
to.
all of you guys.
We'll
Yeah,
have to
maybe
figure
we
out
did
the
this on purpose.
We'll have to figure out the microphone situation, but we'll
We'll get her figured out. So we had you guys perform 3 songs. You're currently recording an EP, if I'm not mistaken, right? And the 3 songs that you're performing in this episode will be on that album. What happened? What happened?
The
dude?
usual happened with Ollie.
He needs
I got
another beer.
mesmerized by Mark Poppin of Funky Moose Audio, and I missed my mouth.
Heck
Yeah,
yeah.
he just threw it down his shirt instead.
Nice.
No, the last 2 songs we did, Hesitate and Slow Motion, will be on the EP. The Difference is a song that we play, but it's actually one I've had actually for a long time. I wrote it back in Manitoba. But yeah, Ollie, I think it's your favorite November Down song.
Well,
The Difference?
It's one of no. I think what will be the lead single on the new EP. Needs to
Oh
Know
yeah, which is coming out tomorrow.
It's coming out tomorrow.
Yeah, we're dropping a single just out of nowhere tomorrow.
So by the time you see this, it will be out. On Spotify,
So
Apple Music, and everywhere else.
So go listen to it. All right, well, this song's called The Difference.
This might be the end of the road, this time for real. Same old solutions, persistent problems don't heal. Rots in the wood, don't care for the paper that covers them. That we murdered in alternate table, not knowing that we bet it all. But the first of your winnings is barely enough to live on. Gambling addictions don't care that you put your cards down. All these bitter nights, haunted by ghosts that we murdered in alternate lives, hiding lonely existence, holding each other like castaways who don't know the difference. We've been living our lives based on avoidance of pain. Tried to stop all the clocks, but the world kept on turning the same. Not making sense ain't the same as being misunderstood. All these bitter nights, haunted by ghosts that we murdered in alternate lives, hiding lonely existence, holding each other like castaways who don't know the difference. Don't know the difference. This might be the end of the road, and this time for real.
Thank you.
You're more qualified to talk about our origin story, really, Alex.
Well,
'cause
I
you
am.
are the origin
I am
story.
the origin story. Yeah, it's kind of it was kind of my project of a genesis or whatever you'd say. But yeah, I moved out to Saskatoon right after I graduated high school. I went to Reyes. That's where I met Brock, our drummer, and then we had a third friend there named Tyson Harvey, who lives in Regina. He's still a dear friend of mine. And we had a band there. Well, band. We kind of just recorded ourselves for school and stuff like that. And so after we did a project there, they do it every year. I think they still do it every year. It's called the Songwriting Scramble, where basically your class gets split into teams, and you have like 24 hours to write and record a song, and then you just kind of judge who's the best song. It's just kind of a fun little thing. And I had a really bad time in my group just because it was the first time in my life. I was 18, and it was the first time in my life I'd ever really showed any of my work and worked and wrote with other musicians, real musicians. And I just got a hammering on my lyrics, and it was just like it hurt me to the point where like I kind of got to the yips where I just couldn't write songs anymore. And so I moved back to Manitoba because I really didn't know what I was going to do out in Saskatoon at that point. And I basically just stayed on the farm for 2 years and didn't know what the hell I was going to do. And then I eventually started doing uni at Brandon University, doing a history degree. And that's when I started working with a girl back in Brandon, Olivia Kelly. And we used to work on stuff, and she's kind of the one who brought me back from the dead a little bit. I started writing songs. The difference was actually the first song I wrote again, where I kind of realized, like, I was sitting in my studio in Brandon, just strumming a guitar with a glass of whiskey, and that song just kind of came out, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm back. Like, this is a good song. This is an actual song. So I just kept writing from there, and so when I moved back to Saskatoon to do my master's, and I decided I was going to do music again, give it like a real shot, because out in Manitoba, I'd never really had an opportunity to do that where I'm from. And so I hooked up with Brock again, and we started just playing stuff acoustically with a drum kit, and things were working really well. I built most of the songs around like open tunings so that they would work really well if I was just by myself. It didn't matter how many people I had, what the instrumentation. And so then we kind of decided after a while, like, let's try and get a band going. So we started going to the Capitol Open stage. That was what Brock suggested we do, and so we just kind of made that our home for a while. We played there every week, and we're just having fun, having some drinks, working out some stuff on stage, just playing in public again, which was great. And that's when we met, it's where I met Ollie, actually, the one night. Ollie doesn't really remember it because
because
he's
Ollies.
a few, but yeah, I met Ollie there, and he borrowed my guitar, as I'm sure there's a lot of people in town he's met because he borrowed their guitar. And so he borrowed it, and I just looked at my girlfriend Lacey, and I'm like, was that guy English? And she's like, I think he was. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. So I watched him, I'm like, he's playing country music. Oh, this is fascinating. And so I was like, I'm going to ask him if he plays lead guitar. And he came back, and I was like, do you play lead guitar, man? And he's like, oh, no, mate, I don't play lead guitar. And I was like, oh, shit. And then he's like, well, I do play bass. And I'm like, oh, do you? You play bass? Like, would you be interested in playing with us? He's like, yeah, but my schedule's not very good right now. And so I was like, oh, whatever. And so I just hounded you on Instagram for, like, every couple weeks. I'd be like, hey, how's your schedule looking, man? Are you still interested?
I do want to point out that, like, my schedule was rammed because I'd moved to the country 2 weeks before we'd met.
Yeah, you were very new.
I was very new. And the fact that I could even make it, like, knew the directions to the capital was impressive enough. But yeah, we met the cap and stuff. I briefly met Brock there. Yeah. And then my schedule was really bad.
And then in the new year was when we really started hooking up. And Ollie, the first time you showed up to rehearsal, I think you'd forgotten you'd agreed to like be in the band or whatever. And you were really hungover, and so like you just kind of came to rehearsal being like, okay, what am I doing? I don't know who's this band again? Like, what is going on?
Well, so Alex and I had been talking for a while, and stuff. We hadn't agreed to. It was not like we met in October and agreed to like start in the new year. It was always just when our schedules aligned. You know, when things started to settle down a little bit. And so we decided by the new year, I kind of knew what I was doing. I kind of had a bit of a money saved, so I wasn't so desperate to get shifts at my job. And so we set a date, and it was like, yeah, it's going to be the full band first time. I hadn't seen you properly in a few months.
And then I came to drop the bass off, and I had just come off like the worst flu I'd had in years, and you were just starting.
And I was just starting, so then I had to cancel that thing, and you were panicking because you thought I wasn't going to be there.
Yeah.
But we made it to the next week and stuff, and I'd gone out for something. I think I'd gone out for like a friend's birthday or something, and sort of dragged myself into the practice and realized that like I'd heard a couple of the songs because you sent them to me, and but you gave me a list of. You were like, here's 8 songs. I need them done for a month.
I didn't say I need them done. I said here's what we have, and that's that.
That was an insinuation, and so we started. Yeah, but we started working. It was really nice. I talked about this a little bit in my podcast.
Right.
Check that episode out. Where I'd been in a band before, and so I'd played with people before, but it had been so long, and it was so nice to play with people again. It was so nice to play other people's music a little bit, like not covers, but it was nice to play something someone else had written and bring that to life, and that was really nice. It was me, you, and Brock. We had another guitarist at the time temporarily, and we were working towards Band Wars. And that was
Band Wars at the Roxy.
Sort of like our
launch point.
Our launch point.
And then we lost our guitar player like the week before we had to go, and so we were like panicking, like, oh, what are we gonna do? Like, oh, this isn't great. But we decided, like, screw it, let's do it as a trio. We'll fail as a trio, or we'll succeed as a trio. Like, we'll just have fun. So we went and we played the first round, which Band Wars was a bizarre competition. And so we went to the first round. We're sitting there waiting to play, and Ollie's like 2-fisting drinks because we're supposed to play like basically last that night. And all of a sudden, I hear one of the judges walking around being like, "Oh, is such and such here?" And I'm like, "Oh, we might have to go on now." Brock, you ready to go? He's like, "Yeah." And I look at Ollie. I'm like, "Yeah, we're probably gonna go on right now." And he just like looks up from a drink. He's like, "Oh, we're what?" I'm like, "Oh, we're going on now." He's like, "Oh, I was supposed to like have 2 hours to like sober up, and I'll have a cigarette. I'll be right back." And then he like comes back, and we played, and we actually played very well.
So we barrel out onto the stage, and it went really well actually. It was the first time we played. It's really funny though. We played obviously a few gigs since. You know, we're a lot more comfortable in our skin. But it was, it was the first time for either of us, and for Brock as well, playing in front of an audience for
A
some of
while.
us, for months, at least for years.
Yep.
For some of us.
Yep.
And it was a little tense, to say the least, to get back into that feeling of being in front of people, and all the photos that people release and stuff. It's 3 deer in headlights.
Yeah, it's just 3 guys that are like, I think this is going well. Is this going well? I don't know. Do you think this is going well?
Is it over? Have we finished? We finished? Okay.
It seemed like we were up there for like 2 seconds and then we were finished playing. It was nuts.
And we did another round about.
Yeah, we got to the next round even, and we were just like, holy shit, we made the second round.
And even though like we didn't succeed in Band Wars, which is fine. It was still a really nice starting point because it was a nice, as well as like the Capital Open mic. It was a nice ingratiation. We met people like Graham Tilsley there and stuff like that, and it was just a nice sort of acquaintancing with,
Right, like a networking kind of thing,
almost,
right?
Yeah, it wasn't deliberately meant to be that. At least that's not what we intended. But it became a happy accident.
And then
for us.
after Band Wars, then we decided like, okay, like let's start looking for gigs again because we'd had like a couple of gigs like at some of the nicer venues in town that kind of fell apart on us. So we're like, okay, let's try this again. And like none of those places, they were all either booked up or wouldn't get back to us. And we're like, oh, this isn't great. And so we're like, where can we do a gig? So we're like, let's play the Doghouse on Idlewild. Sure. And so before that, one of the band, probably other than Chesterfield, I think the biggest friend of the band and of us is probably Adam Johnson. We met, Ollie has known Adam for a while. I've been a mutual follower of Adam's on Instagram actually way before I moved here, which is strange. And so then we met Adam at the Cap one night when the band was playing, and Adam just like fell in love with our music for some reason. And then
at least with us.
Well, and with us too. And so yeah, the Doghouse ended up being like, we ended up being able to pay the sound guy, which was like bare minimum, but like no one came. It was insane.
Because we come up with the idea. I still think the idea is an interesting thing to do. It wasn't the best execution because it was.
We did an in-house gig. So Ollie opened the show with his solo stuff. Brock played second with Yeoman, his kind of Christian rock folky band, and then November Down closed. And so yeah, we had a bunch of our friends and colleagues that were gonna show up, and everybody kept saying, "Yeah, we'll be there. It'll be really great. It'll be really great." And like hardly a soul came.
Turns out the Doghouse is a little bit out of the way.
Yeah.
And yeah,
we ended up playing basically.
Where is that? Yeah, what do you mean out of the way?
Yeah,
It's in the city.
Yeah, and no one came except Adam Johnson. So our first like gig was just playing to an audience
Adam
of
Johnson.
my girlfriend, some of Brock's friends, and Adam Johnson dead center.
just watching Adam Johnson with a schooner of beer, dead center of like under a spotlight, effectively just watching you. It felt like being judged.
My main problem with the show was don't look at Adam the whole time. Don't look at Adam the whole time. But he's the only one in the room. Don't look at Adam the whole time.
Okay, so
that's
how do you
hilarious.
think Adam felt? He was like,
Oh, I know, right?
I want to go home, but I can't.
Well, no, the thing is, Adam is such a lovely guy that he like stayed and had drinks with us afterwards, and we were like chatting about like he's such an awesome dude, and we make a point like we always go to his gigs when we can. He comes to ours when we can. We swap merch and stuff like that. Like it's a great friendship that we have, but it was very funny that as a first gig, and so then basically like we didn't know what we were gonna do from there, and so we basically had a long time off where we were like we can't book. Okay, like well, this is where we are. We can't book gigs. We can't afford to really record with anybody except ourselves. So we'll work on an EP eventually. But as of right now, like we're kind of out in the boonies right now. We don't know what to do. And so then we're at the Cap again, as always. We're at the Capitol on stage.
every Tuesday night.
I
you
love
should
the
come down.
Capitol, man.
Yeah,
That's my favorite venue.
It's a fantastic place.
I'm not going to say a bad word about it. I have a great time there.
Oh, it's
I
amazing.
love it. I freaking
and
love
like
it.
it's just been such a home for us, a
have
great
beer,
home
so-
base for us to try new stuff at. It's incredible. And yeah, like we were there the one night and Chesterfield came in, and like I'd always been aware of Chesterfield as one of the bigger bands in town and one of the better bands in town, but I'd never really met them in person. And then like I'm a master's student at U of S doing history, and I TA, and so then after we played, 2 of Chesterfield's members come up, and lo and behold, it's Cordell and Keisha, and I look at them, I'm like, holy crap, I TA'd you guys in these 2 classes at the university, and they're like, yeah, you're really great. We love you guys. Like, do you want to play with us at somewhere else? You want to take one of the sets off our hands? And we're like, yes, yes, we would. Absolutely. Oh my God.
And then in the middle of between that and then getting that gig, we finally got a new guitarist.
Yeah, because we'd been looking for a while and trying people out, and nobody was really a good fit. And
I
then,
also do want to point out we didn't like do nothing during this. It wasn't like wandering in the desert. We were
writing.
We wrote some of our best songs actually.
Yep. I wrote some of our best.
I wrote the bass line to some of our best songs during this period.
Yeah, there you go.
And we got our current guitarist, Dallas, who is amazing.
Oh, he's one of our closest friends I've ever had now.
And
Love the guy.
So we go to play this gig with Chesterfield, and we're sort of setting up and stuff, and Dallas is like...
At Somewhere Else's Pub.
Yeah,
At
Somewhere Else
Somewhere Else
Pub.
Pub,
Which,
where you-
again, has been a home for us. And honestly, the fact that, like, Matt has had us back a couple times, and just the fact that they've been a reliable place to actually put on a show for us when a lot of venues just don't see us as big enough to
Hell
play
yeah.
there or worth their time. It's just places like that are worth their weight in gold.
Freaking
and
right.
I really
You know what?
appreciate Somewhere
Next
Else.
time you go to Somewhere Else's Pub.
Oh, he knows.
Oh, does he?
Oh, he know.
Okay.
He's the one who told
I
me
point it
about
out every time we play. I'm always like, funky moves.
For those of you at home watching, if you're ever in Saskatoon at Somewhere Else's Pub, just take a look on the walls there and
Yeah. And check yourself in the mirror.
and message us if you see anything notable there on the wall.
It's a beautiful little bit of decor.
The new stage they've got there too. They've revamped everything. I was just in there dropping posters off for the EP release party, which is on the 22nd of September, and we're having it at Somewhere Else Pub. It's going to be awesome. We'll talk about it more, I'm sure. But I was in there dropping off posters, and I was like, it's amazing. I'm so excited. Like, it's elevated now. It's wicked. Like,
It's an
very
actual stage.
It's an actual stage. Like, I'm very excited for them.
It's still at
It's
the
still
same,
at the same place. Yeah, at Somewhere Else.
Yeah, but the same corner it was.
Oh no, it's moved now into the corner, kind of like in kind of where they have the half walls.
Yeah.
It's in that corner now.
Right, yeah, because
yeah.
that part
Yeah.
was elevated.
Yeah, yeah.
That
yeah,
makes
and
sense.
now it's like way higher, and they've reconfigured the stereo system and stuff. It's wicked now.
Hell
But
yeah.
when we got Dallas, that was his first gig with us. Was
Yeah.
playing this sort of support slot for Chesterfield there.
How did you find Dallas?
Well, it was really nice. He's Dallas comes from. I mean, we all come from very different like.
Yeah,
musical
none of us are from
backgrounds.
Saskatoon either.
No, none of us are from. Dallas was born in Saskatoon. But he was raised in Vancouver. Brock, our drummer, was
Born in Alberta.
Born and raised in Alberta. You're born and raised Manitoba, and I can't tell if you know by the accent, but I'm not even from this
Australia.
continent. Shut.
I thought
I remember
It's
the
that.
first.
It's that German humor. It's that German.
I thought
humor.
you were just about to say I can't remember where I'm from.
But yeah, so we got Dallas, and Dallas fit like a glove. It was a bit weird playing with, at least for me, playing with a lead guitarist for the first time, in a few months. But in the months since, he's been wonderful. But we played this gig, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I know Chesterfield." I'm like, "Oh, you know Chesterfield from playing
Yeah.
gigs around and going to music." He's like, "No.
Keisha's my cousin.
Keisha's my cousin." So we're now doubly entwined with them,
Yeah.
with them.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, they've been a solid thing since. It was a great, and I think that was what the band needed a little bit. Whilst the songwriting been going well, we'd still been going to the Cap Open mic. We've been going, Alex and I have been doing like a musical partnership for a while.
Yeah, we play a lot of acoustic unplugged stuff together now.
It was really nice to get a good reception, play a full set,
Right.
and also be paid. That's always a nice thing
Well,
about being a
heck
musician.
yeah.
Helps.
No one wants to talk about it, but it's true. And so it really reinvigorated us. And since then we've had a couple more gigs. We've been schmoozing and cruising with some people. Now we've got the EP release coming up.
Yep.
Things have been falling into place quite nicely since then. I don't want to say it's been fairy tale,
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's not
Yeah.
one. That's not true, and two, it's not interesting.
But at the end of the day, like when I look back at like the goal I set, like it's been like basically a year since I just was in Brock's basement, the two of us just jamming with an acoustic guitar, and we just told ourselves, okay, by next summer, it'd be really cool if we could have a band with like a lineup, and we have like a repertoire. That'd be
Right.
really cool. Maybe play a gig or something. And now we're here having played gigs. People know us in town now.
Yeah.
We have a lot of friends now.
Heck
and
yeah.
We're putting
You're
an
on a
EP out.
podcast.
We're on a podcast. Somebody has said they actually are interested enough to ask us questions about us. That's new.
Yeah, it's great, and yeah, it gives us a wonderful digital footprint. Hi, Mum. I guess also hi, Dad.
Hi, Russell.
He will watch this and he will get a kick out of that. But and so like going into the sort of the second year of the band, even though I've only been in the band since the new year, so I've been about 9 months in. Obviously, Alex and Brock have been about a year in. Looking forward to how we want the next summer to go is
Right.
now something we're sorting out.
Yeah.
And we're going in with a lot more confidence and stuff with this. And A lot of it's, I don't want to like say that we haven't worked hard on doing what we're doing, but it's been wonderful to be able to get people like you guys and just and people like Adam Johnson and just honestly the Saskatoon music scene in general has been.
It's bumping right now.
It's bumping. It's been wonderful, and we feel part of it. We don't feel like. Both, we feel part of it both as like musicians and as audience.
We used to feel like we were on the peripheries and we just didn't know where we fit in. Like the punks really didn't seem to like us very much, and because we're only sort of sometimes punkish, and like the rock guys also kind of didn't like us. Like we couldn't really find.
Or at least they didn't know us.
Yeah, and the country scene liked us, but we're not a country band, and
Right.
so it's just nice to actually be at a point where it's like, okay, the scene has at least let us in the door now.
Yeah.
Like we feel like we belong here now,
Yeah.
and it's. A
I'm
very-
gonna put a lot of that credit to the open stages on
Honestly,
Tuesday night.
I will
Like,
put that
dude,
too.
There's so many different. You can go anywhere from like a hip hop group to a solo acoustic set.
I mean,
any genre, anything that's going on there.
Yep.
But
And
it's
heavy metal.
and,
Shout out
and
Spare
there's
to Die.
yeah, freaking right. But it's like but it's what I'm trying to say is like any genre is welcome there to perform,
Yep.
but it's people's attitudes on a Tuesday night, how welcoming it is, and everyone's just like, oh, do you want to jam? Like, who are you? You play the bass? Let's go up there. Let's go. And it's like a camaraderie thing
100%.
that I think is what makes it what it is.
So this one's called Hesitate. It's going to be on our upcoming EP that we're putting out on the 22nd. I was about to say it's going to be the first song, but I have no idea what the order is going to be. So anyways, this song's called Hesitate. 3, 4.
Took it all in stride, started walking and began to run. Relegated me, assimilated instantly. It's nothing but a memory, but the world still turns the same for you. The sky remains familiar shade of blue. All your maps still lead you to the same place. You never stop and never hesitate. I was left abandoned, started rusting soon. I could not move. Took it all from me, then again I gave in willingly. Donation with no guarantee. The world still turns the same for you. The sky remains familiar shade of blue. All your maps still lead you to the same place. You never stop and never hesitate. What should I have expected upon further inspection? Scrutiny abound. Painting you as perfection, rendered by definition. You're someone who was never there at all. But the world still turns the same for you. The sky remains a familiar shade of blue. All your maps still lead you to the same place. You never stop and never hesitate. You never stop and never hesitate.
is that everybody there is welcoming.
It is,
So-
it is, and it's also. I mean, we've talked about this before, both on the podcast and off, and we've talked about this before off the podcast. Obviously, now on, is the idea of like one of the wonderful things about open stage is it's not just about getting your teeth in, trying out if you like performing and stuff like that. It's also a good breeding ground for trying out new material, and all this sort of stuff that you throughout the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, that's how I try and when I'm talking to somebody who's like very new in it, that shows up at the open stage and doesn't know what's going on or how to go about it. I think this is a good analogy, but I try and compare it to like stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Right? You think of a stand-up comic who puts an hour special out once every 2 years. Mm-hmm. He's been working on that set for the last 2 years, performing it every single night. He might change a word here or a line here. He's just dialing it in and seeing what works. That's what I'm encouraging you artists to use that stage on a Tuesday night for. Get up there, dial it in. If you mess up, it's okay. It's just an open stage.
I mean, we've definitely worked on songs and gained confidence in certain songs.
Oh yeah, we've had gambles where we've been like, let's try this song out. We've never tried it live. Let's give it a go.
Exactly. But even to go as far as somebody who's new, like, okay, so it's 3 songs or 20 minutes, right? Whichever comes first, and then time is up. So if you're going up there and it takes you 10 minutes to get all your equipment set up, you're down to 10 minutes left, and then you got to get off the stage. So even that, let's hypothetically, you go up there the first time you get connected, took you 10 minutes, you got 10 minutes to perform. Well, if you come back next Tuesday, do it again, you do it in 7 or 6 minutes, and then keep coming back and keep doing it, and you'll be able to just plug and go. You know what I mean?
It's also, so when new artists come to the Cap and just kind of check it out and see what's going on, I always mention that most of the people in the room are artists. So if you have questions, ask anyone.
Oh yeah,
they've probably been through it.
And even if they're not an artist, they're going to hear your music, get their opinion. But everyone there is there because they love listening to live music, going to live music, having a wonderful time doing it.
Yep.
And yes, it's been a godsend to us. I mean, it's how we met. Like
I said. When Dirty and the Perks were there, Carly when Dirty and the Perks were playing, Carly used to run the open mic, and I always say, without her and that open mic when Brock and I started, we wouldn't exist as a band because I would never have met anybody because I didn't know what to do. I had just moved here again. I didn't know, and last time I lived here I was only 18, so I didn't know the scene at all. I was clueless. So yeah, without the open mic, November Down wouldn't.
Which
exist.
reminds me, we got to put a bunch of posters up on campus.
Yes,
now
you do. I've talked to
university.
you about this. Get some posters up on campus.
We got them made. We just have to go do it.
He's at the university, not me.
You do it.
So for all you university students, if you might be watching this or listening to this, not only is the Capitol on a Tuesday night the longest running open stage that Saskatoon has ever had, it's also the cheapest place you can find drinks on a Tuesday night.
It really
is at the Capitol. You will not find a drink cheaper than at the Capitol on a Tuesday night.
And it's been the ruin of many a poor boy.
And if you're in university, you show your student card, you'll get even student pricing on top of that.
Is that true?
Why have you not done this yet?
I didn't know that.
Why have you not done this yet?
I don't know.
By the time this episode comes out, that's what's going down.
Nice.
You heard it here first, guys.
And if you're in History 185 and you come see my band at the open mic, I will go easy on you on the participation marks.
Hell yeah, dude. I do want to talk about the recording process.
100%.
So are you guys in studio doing that? Are you recording in-house?
Well, see, this is the amazing thing about having 3 of us be audio engineer Reyes grads and 1 film guy. It's okay. Basically, we don't have to record it all at my place. We do drums at Brock's. Brock has a really amazing... That's another thing, is having a drummer that has a really nice space is worth its weight in gold. And so we record drums at Brock's place, and then Dallas has his own setup at his place, so we record his guitars there, and he just sends them to me. I don't even have to be there. Right. And then I just put it all together at my place, and Ollie comes over, and we have a good time recording bass.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair,
you will do a music video for us eventually when we get some cash together.
Dude, this guy's such a gem. He was here on the podcast we had with Julie, and so he was sitting at the table there, and we had and he was giving me pointers on camera angles and stuff. It was like, hell yeah, dude, I really appreciate that, man.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Hey, you You should.
We should have gave him a freaking producer credit on
I
that
need
episode.
a producer credit for that one.
Well, I'll go back and I'll adjust it.
But it's yeah, it's especially for me as someone who doesn't. I come from a live music background, but I don't come from an audio engineer background at all. I did film sound, which is kind of overlaps a little bit, but it's not. It's
a different beast.
It's a different beast. It's different. It's a different. It's a different tradition. It's a different discipline. It's really nice to be able to play in a band and not have to worry about a thing,
right?
Yeah. Because someone else in the band is thinking about it and is sorting it.
Well,
which
and
is
like,
great for
and
me.
don't get me wrong, like we would love to be recording at like one of the famed studios in town, but we also kind of have a rep as one of the brokest bands in town. So like, we just do everything ourselves for now. The EP is gonna get mastered actually by Jesse Wyman at Nolita Studios.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Because we just decided, for at least part of this, we're gonna try and get like some outside, and just also to have someone else's name on it is nice.
And also, I would like to point out Jesse Wyman has been a friend of the band.
Yes, he has been. Yeah, Jesse's
for as long as November Down's been a thing, or at least since I've been in it.
Just the fact that Jesse's been interested in us, period, is amazing too. That's the other reason.
Sometimes that's all it takes.
Yep.
It's just one person for that little bit of encourage,ment that
It is, and honestly,
makes a big difference.
And honestly,
man.
we've got stuff for future stuff. So hopefully, we'll dance around, hop around, and we'll get a different sound every time.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. But it's been a really great fun recording it. It's gonna be the first time I've actually had when I was in Brandon, I was putting out. Actually, if you go to my Bandcamp, Alex Lintz at Bandcamp, basically you can find like earlier versions of 4 of the songs we play that I recorded just all on my own. But like I've never really liked my songs when it's all me because it all just sounds like me. Like I know I'm playing a bass part and it's a competent bass part, but it's still me playing it. So it's just great to have.
But is that just you being hard on yourself?
I think so.
Or?
No, there's just something about it where if one person's doing all the instruments, it's never to me going to be as good as a collaborative effort. Like music is supposed to be collaborative, in my opinion, and so just having like I used to program my own drums. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of bonuses to programming drums because you don't have to feed it. You can tell it whatever you want, and it won't talk back to you. But having a live drummer.
Was that a jab at Brock?
Yeah, but like Brock and I have a great relationship, and having Brock available to do good live drums is so much better and so much more fun.
And as someone who's coming from a more of a live music background than the audio tech stuff, I had a lot of students when I was teaching. If any of you are listening, it's good to see you.
You're not seeing them though.
Yeah,
anyway,
I know.
keep talking.
It's good for you to see me. But it's. I had a lot of them who were like bedroom artists, amazing musicians, but they were doing fully produced albums by themselves, and I'm not saying that the quality of the albums was awful, it wasn't. But there's something about live music, and not just live music, but also the idea of being able to transplant a recorded album straight into, like we can play pretty much everything that's on the EP, we can put on stage. Cause there's a couple of overdubs, but not... It's not reliant.
Well, and that's
on
just the way I produce too. I'm very much a simplistic, like just play what you guys play, and I'll make it sound like you. I don't really.
And
I'm not I don't use drum samples. I don't use any samples really. But like, I prefer to just get it to be as raw as I can, and that's kind of what the CP is going to sound like. There's really nothing on the CP that you can't that we aren't reproducing live. It's, which
So is the EP just going on streaming platforms, or are you sending it?
This is the thing.
I'll let you take this.
Well, we would love to do physical format stuff. I would love to have CDs. I'd love to maybe do a vinyl pressing someday. That'd be
But they're
amazing.
also the brokest band.
We are the brokest band in
gotcha.
town, and that stuff's expensive if you don't... Like, it's really great to do if you know you'll sell it, but we do not have a guaranteed enough draw to be confident of playing big shows even yet, let alone selling... an investment in CDs.
But that being said, we do have merch.
We do have merch. Yes, I made T-shirts.
We meant to bring you guys some down.
November down?
In November?
Little November
I'll bring it
down.
for the cap sometime.
Yeah, we'll bring
But,
some wee freebies.
Yeah, we have T-shirts.
All right.
I'm working on hats, and then we also have a couple of tumblers that I've made too.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, basically just my mom has a cricket cutter, and
Oh yeah. Oh, that works.
my mom has a cricket cutter. I have a logo. You do the math.
We try and keep things as much in house possible. Part of it is I like being part of a DIY band. It's quite
Oh yeah.
fun to
Well,
do.
that's one. Like I grew up. You can't really tell from knowing me or looking at me, but like I grew up mainly on punk rock, and so like I have a lot of that DIY
Right.
as part of who I am, and so like I love
So
having
do
that.
Chesterfield as well.
They do. They
They're
really
like-
do.
They do everything themselves.
We don't have our regular background with us, but you have a pickled T-shirt from Chesterfest.
Oh, I
Chesterfield.
do. It's in the studio at Funky Moose there. That's right. They were performing at the Capitol, so I was sitting at the merch with them for a little bit, and they were like, "Hey, do you mind watching the merch while we go do a set?" I'm like, "No, like I have absolutely no problems doing that. I love doing that."
Yeah.
And there was this freaking jar on the table. I didn't know what the
Mason
hell it
jar.
was. Yeah, and as I'm looking at it, they had one of their tie-dyed T-shirts in a pickle, like they pickled it.
That's genius.
And they were like, "Here for $20, a
Yeah.
Chesterfield pickled shirt."
They're
for
geniuses.
$20. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I bought it. So I've got the one and only pickled Chesterfield T-shirt.
Yeah.
And it
But-
sits in the background of the podcast.
Yeah.
And now we're
And
doing
it-
it here.
And it's good. It's a good shirt. But yeah, we're hoping to do some vinyl at some point. Also, we joked about the
Maybe.
idea
Right.
of doing cassettes.
We have.
What
but
about
Don't
radio?
Don't do cassettes.
Well, we are.
Funky Moose Radio
There you
is
go.
where we're going to be putting
That's
it,
where I
just
was-
like our first single that we put out, "Left for Leaving," which you can stream and request on Funky Moose Radio.
Hell yes.
But yeah, Funky Moose, and then I think CFCR wants it too. I wasn't as familiar with CFCR, but we're going to be on there in a couple weeks doing an interview. And yeah.
Wait. You were more familiar with Funky Moose Radio than you were with
Okay,
CFCR.
so here's the
We're
thing.
more familiar with you, Joel. if
Yeah,
nothing
dude.
else.
I love that.
Here's
I love
here's
that,
the
buddy.
qualifier. When I was growing up, we used to have like KX96 was our local rock station in Brandon. That got bought by Bob FM when I was like maybe like 13. So I haven't really had local radio
Right.
in a long time. So I just don't listen to the
Yeah.
radio anymore, and that just isn't on my radar.
Right.
So when I was thinking of promotional ideas for the EP, I was like, "Oh, I've heard of this radio station." And I like emailed them, and they're like, "Yeah, come on." I'm like, "Really? Okay,
All right.
sure."
Heck yeah.
But yeah, it's been yeah. I think we can confidently say like the last few months have been really good for us. Like, and
Yep.
we've got some exciting stuff coming out, and
Is it up there? Is it on there right now?
Yeah.
It is?
It
All
is.
right, for like, I don't know, 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
like that,
we'll
yeah.
have the Redux version of that.
Yeah, because Dallas wasn't on the original. I played all the lead
And
guitars on the
it was a
original.
lot more of a quick release sort of thing. So
Yeah,
this one,
this
lot more
one
love
I've
and
remixed
care
it,
and stuff. So
yeah,
that's
and
really
Dallas
nice.
has his. Dallas plays a baritone guitar, which has been nice because it just adds just that little bit of. to
Not
what
for
we
me.
need. Well, yeah, it screws with you because you guys fight for frequency space. But yeah, for the rest, for like the band in general, it's really helped having just. As soon as I saw the guy, I was like, this is the guy. This is the guy. He's cool.
And
He's
always
edgy.
like, I don't want that guy.
I have been trying to get Dallas outside of Radio kicked off at this band for months, frankly, and it's still not worked. But no, like I say, we've got like a vague year plan and stuff like that. Like, hopefully we will talk to you guys about the idea of Moosefest, and there's so many other.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this before, like the amount of amazing local festivals there are.
Yeah.
Not just in Saskatchewan, but across the prairies.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just want to address one thing. When you record your album, we've talked about the Weezer
Yeah.
kind of topic. Explain how that's going to work.
The cover photo?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So it's going to be a self-titled album. It's just going to be called November Down. And so, yeah. With the we kind of started calling ourselves the Burgundy Boys for a bit because we accidentally, like, my sister always gives me shit because, like, I don't know how to shop for clothes for myself. I'm clueless with dressing myself, and so my sister always gives me shit that I wear a lot of burgundy and maroon, like, and purple. And so Ollie and Brock also showed up to one of our performances at the Cap in burgundy. So we just kind of became the Burgundy Boys. And Dallas has a burgundy tracksuit that he wears. So we decided for the album cover, it's going to be self-titled, but because where Weezer's blue album, green album is the backgrounds, ours is going to be our outfits.
Yes.
So it's going to be the Burgundy EP kind of thing.
The Burgundy EP will be great, and we are.
And then
color-coded
we've
today.
toyed around with the idea of just wearing the exact same outfits on the next one and just calling it the Maroon EP and see if anybody fights with us over color palette stuff.
Yeah.
You could just, abbreviate it so it could be BEP, right?
Yeah.
BEP, and then the other one could be MEP, MEP, and
Yeah, I think the next one will probably be. I'm going to call it now. The next EP will come out in 2024. It'll be the Green EP, and I can't wait to buy a green shirt for that.
heck yeah. Right
Yeah.
on.
Save up.
No, I
We
freaking
do.
love it, you guys. For those of you at home, if you like the music that's in this episode, please go to Funky Moose Radio and request November Down and get them some spins on there, as well as you can find them on all the streaming platforms, right?
Yep.
Look them up on Instagram, Facebook, all that fun
Yep.
stuff. It's all under November Down.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah.
November Down.
Uh,
November Down music, because I made a November Down account, and then Instagram was doing that thing where you had to submit a photo of yourself with the date or whatever, and it didn't like mine, so the November Down account is banned. So I have November Down music.
All right.
So yeah, with November Down Music or November Down, you'll find us.
You'll find
right.
us.
Um, No one else is as silly to use that sort of name for anything. But yeah, request our music on Funky Moose Radio, and even if not, listen to Funky Moose Radio, and hopefully we'll see some of you at the Cap and some of you at our AP release.
And
in a
if
couple of
you're
weeks.
real dangerous, you can actually pay us for it on Bandcamp.
You can.
That's
Or-
the first Friday of every month, right? Is that how that works?
Yeah,
I-
Bandcamp Fridays.
if I'm not mistaken, yeah. I think
Yeah, I
so.
think it's
I
the
think it's the
first-
last
the
Friday.
first?
It's either the first or the last, which, same thing.
Yeah, you'll find
yeah.
You'll find eventually, but
Just
yeah.
go every Friday.
just check every
Just
Friday.
every Friday. You'll
Yeah.
figure it out.
But also, I will say that is a tip. If you're going to buy through a third party, if you can't buy directly through an artist's website, buy through Bandcamp. It gives the best cut of any payment to the artist.
That's where you can get our merch, too, online if you can't make it to one of our shows.
Yeah,
on.
absolutely.
I love it.
And but it's been lovely talking to you guys.
Heck yeah, man. So this is an open door policy. If you guys ever got anything coming up and you want to just come hang with us and talk about it, more than happy to have you guys back
I'm
again.
sure I'll see you again, Joel.
I know I'll see you again, buddy.
Alex, Ollie, thanks for coming.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much,
having
guys.
us.
Thanks,
Take
you guys.
care.
Take care.
Bye, everyone.
So this next one's also going to be off the EP. It's a very, very different song when you've got Dallas in there playing lead guitar. But honestly, it's always sounded good acoustically just like this too, and I really like it. It's called Slow Motion. 3, 4.
Nothing we do is set in stone. Waiting on this train, starting to feel inevitable. And all these feelings come and go. Things that we once knew abandon us and make us look like fools. Saving every glance like distorted photographs, a collage of all we used to be. Writing on the wall, run-on sentence paragraphs, just don't say what I mean. It's crumbling around us, bubbling below, but I can only let you go in slow motion. When the cracks start to show, we didn't pay attention. Structural integrity is blown wide open. Now everyone can see the depth of you and me. Search for silver linings, but all we find is gray. These excuses that we forge don't make it go away. Facing up the dirty work best done in the dark. We rub these hearts together, but we just don't find a spark. It's crumbling around us, bubbling below, but I can only let you go in slow motion. Taking our time, holding out the day you sex, machination. mind so we can sink and reunite. It's crumbling around us, bubbling below, but I can only let you go in slow motion. Slow motion.
Thank you very much.
Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba